Making a start with the latest coming in from India, where the alliance between the Samjawadi Party and the Congress for the upcoming Uttar Pradesh elections has been sealed soon after Congress President Sonia Gandhi intervened and spoke to Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav over the possible alliance prospects. Akhilesh Yadav, Chief Minister of the state of Uttar Pradesh, made the official announcement on the alliance between Samjawadi Party and the Congress. In fact, just a short while ago, that joint press conference held by Naresh Uttam and Raj Babbar spelled out the news of that alliance having been sealed between the Congress and the Samjawadi Party. This, of course, changes the equation for the state of Uttar Pradesh. The assembly there consists of 403 seats, out of which Congress now will officially contest for 105 and the rest will be contested by the Samjawadi Party. Meanwhile, the Bharatiya Janata Party has also announced its candidate list, adding 155 names in the BJP's second list. For more on that, let's get in a word from our chief domestic correspondent, Kartikeya Sharma, who's been keeping a close eye on the latest. After much speculation, Kartikeya, and much flip-flop, the deal has finally come through, but a lot of room left for speculation over what exactly turned things around for the alliance to come through, the kind of backroom negotiations that were held.
See, the real issue for the people at large or the who are interested in political development is who really turned around the deal. Was it Priyanka Gandhi? Was it Sonia Gandhi herself? Or was it the emissaries of Priyanka Gandhi? Or was it the two very close aides of Sonia Gandhi who had been working with her very closely for past 15-20 years? Were they pressed into service? Or did Lalu Prasad Yadav made a difference by calling Akhilesh Yadav? Or did someone spoke to Mulayam Singh Yadav? You know, these are all questions which are riveting, which are gripping, which are unanswered. And I think that's the reason why Raj Babbar did not take questions. That's the reason why Ghulam Nabi Azad has been incommunicado. That's the reason why the senior associates of the Congress president are not taking the calls, Molly.
Right, Kartikeya, just hold that thought there. We also joined in by Kalyani Shankar, senior journalist and political commentator on the broadcast. Thank you very much, ma'am, for speaking with us. Your views on the Congress walking away with 105 seats, a lot of backroom negotiations, as we've just been discussing, that have not been revealed, of course. But to what extent will this, according to you, dampen the prospects of the BJP and the BSP in the state?
Well, it is definitely a win-win situation for both Samajwadi Party as well as the Congress, because union is strength and together they may have the more voting percentage. To that extent, I think it's a good deal for them. But the thing is that, you know, both the parties, till yesterday, they were fighting with each other. The workers were fighting with each other. And how will they convince the workers? And today they are together and they should work closely. So this is one immediate thing which the news has to percolate down the line, and it's going to take some time for them to explain why they did it. So that is number one thing. Second is that is it too little too late? We don't know. Maybe they should have done it a month ago or even 1.5 months ago. And this coming after Akhilesh Yadav has lost his, he has emerged as a strong winner in the family feud. But then you see, till yesterday Congress was again saying criticizing the administration, his administration, and they have not done well, all those things. So how will they go on the same platform and talk praise to Akhilesh Yadav? You know, tomorrow if they have a joint rally, so what will they talk? What will they say about each other? So this is also going to be another thing. Another embarrassment for the Congress is about 2-3 months ago they brought Sheila Dikshit, who was a former Delhi chief minister, with great fanfare, and announced her as a chief ministerial candidate. When the Congress is so much down in UP, I wonder why they had to go for this measure. They could have waited if they had any interest in alliance. Or, you know, now what happens now, Sheila Dikshit has to go away. And it's not good for her image also, and that is another thing. And
ma'am, request you to just hold that thought there, please. Let's also listen in to Ghulam Nabi Azad of the Congress speaking live.
हो रही है, किसी को पता ही नहीं है तो अपनी अपनी सब खबरें बताते हैं। हकीकत रायबरेली और अमेठी पर तो कभी चर्चा ही नहीं हुई। वो चर्चा थी एक के सभी जगह हमें सीटें मिलनी चाहिए। मुरादाबाद में मिलनी चाहिए, मेरठ में मिलनी चाहिए, बिजनौर में मिलनी चाहिए, सेंट्रल इधर वेस्ट में चाहिए, ईस्ट में चाहिए, बुंदेलखंड में चाहिए, सेंट्रल यूपी में चाहिए, ये हमारी प्राथमिकता थी और हमारी मांग थी 150 सीटों की। उसका कारण है क्यों हमने 150 मांगी थी, क्योंकि हमने 6 महीने पहले जब प्रोग्राम शुरू कर दिया था तो हमने ये निर्णय लिया था कि हम अपने बलबूते पे इलेक्शन लड़ेंगे। लेकिन बहुत सारे सेकुलर फोर्सेस इकट्ठे हो गए कि भाई ये तो आपका सोचना ठीक है, लेकिन ये लक्ष्य पूरा होगा कि नहीं। इस बीच में समाजवादी के बीच में भी बहुत बड़ा विवाद हुआ, जिसके चलते वो भी थोड़ा कमज़ोर हुआ। तो लोगों को शायद संदेह ये हो गया कि इन हालात में शायद कोई अल्टरनेटिव नहीं बन पाएगा और बीजेपी अल्टरनेटिव हो सकता है। इसलिए हम सब इकट्ठे हो गए और हमने कहा 150 सीटें होनी चाहिए, 150, ताकि हम सभी समुदायों को और जितने भी रीजन्स हैं उत्तर प्रदेश के उनको हम रिप्रेजेंटेशन, और जितनी कास्ट कम्युनिटीज़ हैं, रिलीजन हैं, उनको हम रिप्रेजेंटेशन दे पाएँ।
Ghulam Nabi Azad of the Congress speaking. Kalyani Shankar is still with us. Thank you very much, ma'am, for waiting patiently. As we've just heard, Ghulam Nabi Azad also spell out how the Congress had eyed 150 seats initially, but has now managed to walk away with 105. Your thoughts on that, ma'am?
Well, you see, I don't know whether Congress has so many candidates, even for 70, 80 seats actually. They are very ambitious. Congress has no organization at the ground level, and they have not developed. I don't know whether you may recall, in 2012, after the UP laws, I think Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi both came out and said that the reason was they had no organization. For
Yes.
5 years, they had not built up any organization. They had been changing the PCC president, they had been changing the leadership, and now they brought Siraj from Delhi to be their chief ministerial candidate. You know, they have not been going in an organized manner. Otherwise, it would have been much better. But they have, I think they have messed up the UP thing totally. Ultimately, at least now they have come together and have the kind of alliance which might help both, because in Bihar, the same thing happened. You know, because of the Mahagathbandhan, the Congress was able to perform better. Right now, Congress has got just 28 seats. So many people were predicting that it may not be more than 30, 35. So at the most, with this thing, probably it could go up to 40 or 50. I don't see anything more than that. But for Akhilesh, he had been predicting that the combination would give 300 seats. So now they are only fighting in 298 seats. So to that extent, probably the strike rate might come down. So this is one thing which both parties have to decide. But the other thing is that Mayawati, not only BJP, Mayawati also was eyeing the Muslim votes, thinking that because of the family quarrel in Samajwadi Party, Mulayam Singh's family, so she might benefit. Now we don't know, because, you know, Muslims could be split into 3 or maybe 2. Right now it's going to be a 3-cornered contest. Earlier it was going to be a 4-cornered contest. That also helps. Now who gets whose votes, that we have to see.
Right.
But the UP is only caste-ridden, and you know there are so many other problems. Now one advantage for Samajwadi Party is that Congress, whatever votes it has of the upper caste, you know, it was looking for the Brahmin votes actually, and maybe some Dalit votes. And then for the Congress, they might try and get the OBC votes, which could come, which could not. I mean, the transferring of the votes is not going to be that easy. So we will have to wait and see. The BSP can easily transfer votes, but not the other parties. So this is one thing we have to wait and see.
All right, leaving it there for the moment, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast with your views and perspectives on the alliance between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress coming through. The deal has been sealed. For more on that, our chief domestic correspondent Kartikeya Sharma has been joining us with the very latest. Taking a cue from what Kalyani Shankar just said, Kartikeya, would you agree that the Congress was being ambitious in eyeing 150 seats initially?
No, see, that's a different question. But for me, what is the revelation is that Ghulam Nabi Azad, what Ghulam Nabi Azad said, and he said that, you know, Congress wanted to go alone, but suddenly realized that the Samajwadi Party has become weak, and they wanted to stop Bharatiya Janata Party. So life has come a full circle for the Congress Party. 2007, Rahul Gandhi actually campaigned all across Uttar Pradesh, and he wanted to rebuild Congress Party through revitalizing the organization through electoral means. Then in 2012, he said, I feel like staying back in Uttar Pradesh. and now they say only to stop BJP they have got into an alliance. Now, if you see, it's about what are the objectives. Bharatiya Janata Party is in expansion mode throughout the country. The sole objective of the Congress party is to stop Bharatiya Janata Party, and it is willing to sacrifice. So life has come a full circle, you know.
Right.
What you thought was not right 5 years back or 10 years back has become correct today.
Right, stay with us, Kartikeya. Senior journalist Sharad Gupta is also joining us on the broadcast for more on that. Your views, sir, on the deal having been sealed between the Congress and the Samajwadi Party. The immediate question that arises is, how does this, according to you, change the equation in the state of Uttar Pradesh?
I don't think it changes much, except that Samajwadi Party actually didn't need this alliance. It has sealed the alliance just because it wanted an additional 8 to 10% votes that Congress gets. And Congress needed a foothold in UP because if it contested the assembly elections on its own, it would not have won more than, say, 15-20 seats. So, in an alliance with Samajwadi Party and contesting 105 seats, Congress hopes to win about 30 to 40, maybe 50 seats. So, it's a win-win situation for both the parties, but it will be advantage Congress more than advantage Samajwadi Party.
Okay. All right, according to you, advantage Congress more than advantage Samajwadi Party. Yes, Kartikeya, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question for Molly, for Mr. Sharad Gupta, and my question to you is that hasn't the life come the full circle for the Congress party, and what does it mean for the politics of Rahul Gandhi? Because in 2007 and 12, Mr. Gandhi had spoken about Ekla Cholore and be campaigning to revitalize the Congress through electoral means and by going alone, and the senior leadership of the Congress was blamed by him for compromising the Congress in the state. And now today both Rahul and Priyanka have actually welded the Congress party with Samajwadi Party so to defeat Bharatiya Janata Party in 2017 elections. How do you explain the contradiction in terms of objectives?
It is indeed a U-turn for Congress. In fact, it should not have gone for an alliance because if it contests only 105 seats, so it's leaving 298 seats where it will not have any representation for next 5 years. So it is complete U-turn, and the objective is that defeated. The objective for which the Congress...
So you are saying the objective is defeated, but... Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the objective is defeated. It is advantage Congress more than advantage Samajwadi Party. Go ahead, Kartikeya. I believe you have another question.
Yes, the question which I really want to ask you is, now it has been an alliance with 105 seats going to Samajwadi Party and rest to 105 going to the Congress and rest going to Samajwadi Party. Do you think that with this alliance, it is still credible in the run? And do you think it has enough power to take that traction away from BSP versus BJP, which has become the dominant narrative in Uttar Pradesh from past 1 week? BSP versus BJP?
I see it as an open race for all the three alliances, all the three parties. So it's an open race for Congress as well as Congress SC alliance, as well as BSP and BJP alliances. So there is no clear winner as of now. It's an open race, and any of these alliances can wrest control. And I feel it's a neck and neck race. So nobody has a complete advantage over others.
All right, leaving it there for the moment. Sharad Gupta, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast with your views and perspectives on what this really means for the state of Uttar Pradesh. Going back across now to Kartikeya Sharma, who's still with us. Very interesting, Kartikeya. The contest, of course, is only heated up, but as you were just mentioning, whether or not the alliance between the Congress and the Samajwadi Party will manage to eat away into the share of the BSP and the Bharatiya Janata Party.
See, it's also about a cascading effect, you know, which we have to factor in. If you remember that the way elections were fought in 2012, it was a 7-phase election which started from eastern part and went down to the western part. eastern part is dominated by a Samajwadi party. So in first two phases, when the build-up happened, the whole narrative was that Samajwadi party has done so well that it to do well in all the phases. Now this time around, elections are starting from west, where BJP and BSP is strong, and then it goes down to the east. So the narrative will be that it is a BJP versus BSP fight. So one has to factor in how the cascading effect will be built and whose favor it will be built, Molly. Second thing which comes into operation is, yes, SP and Congress are in alliance, but whether the votes will be transferred or not, that is something very important. Whether SP-Congress alliance will create a Jat consolidation for Bharatiya Janata Party or not. That's a third issue which will come into play. And the fourth which will come into play is that which happened in Lok Sabha in 2014, that despite the fact UP has 16.7% Muslim population, perhaps even more than that, still does not have one member of minority community to the Lok Sabha, because the vote in itself got superseded by a counter polarization by non-minority votes. So suppose that non-minority consolidation takes place, will it be a repeat of 2014? And now I'm joined by Vinod Sharma, political editor of Hindustan Times. Sir, welcome to WION. My question to you is, sir, how effective will this alliance of Samajwadi Party and Congress will be?
You see, politics is the game of perception, you know. To have a handicap over your rivals, you know, to have a head start over your rivals, you have to first win the perception game. And I think that by these two parties coming together, that perception game has given, that perception game, they have a clear advantage over other competitors for political space in Uttar Pradesh, namely the BSP and the BJP. Now, next to that comes the effectiveness of your political alliance in translating into a social alliance on the ground. So when I say that, I mean that, you know, whether their cadres will work together first and whether their constituents will work together or vote together. That is a big question. And that all will depend on how smartly is this alliance conducted through the cadres on the ground.
Sir,
a lot of that will get conveyed.
Mr. Sharma, sorry to stop you, and Mr. Sharma. Sorry to stop you, Mr. Sharma. I have a question for you. You have covered this Congress party for a very long time, senior in my own beat. My question to you, sir, is when Rahul Gandhi had entered politics, his whole mission was Uttar Pradesh. His whole exercise and focus was Uttar Pradesh. If you remember, in Phulpur rally in 2012, he said, "Mera man kehta hai ki UP mein ठहर जाऊं," which means I feel like staying back in Uttar Pradesh. Hasn't the rules of the game changed, because he had always blamed in its own subtle ways senior leadership of compromising UP by having a sort of a friendship with BSP, and the same thing has been reached, agreement has been reached by Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. How does this contradiction be explained, sir?
You see, there are, you know, in politics you don't have constants, you know. It's a game of possibility. And I think that today the Congress party is being realistic. It knows that this is not the time for it to, carry forward its promise of re-establishing itself in Uttar Pradesh. And if the Congress has to re-establish itself in Uttar Pradesh, it has to work very, very tirelessly on the ground, which hasn't happened, unfortunately, despite Rahul's announcements, to be able to show up a social group which backs the Congress. Now, every other political rival the Congress has in Uttar Pradesh, Karthike, has a social alliance to back it. The Samajwadi has MY, Yadav Muslim. The BSP has Dalit Muslim to some extent, and to some extent also Brahmins, who voted for them the last time. Let's see whether they do it this time or not. And the BJP has a forward caste line. Congress just has minimal presence amongst Muslims and Brahmins. It's not backed by any major social alliance. So the Congress, I think that if the Congress has chosen to yield an inch to gain a mile later, I wonder whether it will happen or not. But that throw-up, I think, applies here. They are being realistic, and I think they've come together with Samajwadi Party to be able to stall the march of BJP, which was there in 2014, and roll it back. And if they're able to roll it back, then avenues will open for the entire opposition to be able to strike deeper roots, not just in Uttar Pradesh, across India. Hello?
Right, sir. Also, if I can request you to share your thoughts on to what extent you think the timing over here of this alliance is crucial, given the fact that the Samajwadi Party has been in disarray. Would that impact the electorate at all? Would that also send out a message to the electorate as far as the Congress and the Samajwadi Party being at constant loggerheads is concerned?
I think that this alliance would be of tremendous comfort to the minority committees. I mean, let's not get into anything else. You see, there is something called the tyranny of numbers. Numbers can be very tyrannical, even in a normal, regular situation. But in Uttar Pradesh, certain developments happened, certain events happened in Muzaffarnagar. There were certain unfortunate incidents in other parts of Uttar Pradesh, and people were lynched by mobs, and these were very unfortunate spectacles. And these unfortunate spectacles gave our minority groups a great sense of fear, distrust, and insecurity. Now, this alliance offers them room, a sense of belonging, and I think that much of the fortunes of the Samajwadi and the Congress will depend on what kind of gravitation of the Muslim vote happens in defense of this alliance or in favor of this alliance, and how much of losses are there for the BSP on account of that. You see, the BJP had started off very well initially, and they had tried to reach out to non-Dalit, non-Jatav Dalits.
Mr. Sharma, I would like to, Mr. Sharma, I would like to interject for a minute. You were talking about the fact that this alliance will be a succor to the minority, but it also, don't you think it opens up a possibility of a counter-polarization which was witnessed in 2014 Lok Sabha elections, where minority vote itself became irrelevant, and a state like UP does not have one single Lok Sabha member from minority community?
You see, Kartikeya, I've been calling that, apartheid through ballot. You see, it's not a badge that Indian democracy should be sporting on its chest and flaunting it. It was the most unfortunate thing. You see, even the BSP that got 1 crore votes, if I am not wrong, didn't get a single seat in Uttar Pradesh. So these were the downsides of first past the post system that we have in this country. But at the same time, if you look at Bihar, you would know that where subaltern Indian majority caste, where certain influential majority groups stand up together with the Muslims, the backlash doesn't happen. The backlash happens when majoritarianism is formally in place and there is one section of the minority that is voting in hordes. In Bihar, the Muslim voters told the Mahagathbandhan people, you don't need to come to us. We are going to, in any case, vote for you. We have no option, and this is a good alliance that we want to strengthen. The same thing is going to happen, I assume, in
your point is taken, sir.
Which is not an exact.
Sir, your point is taken, sir.
Yes. Hello.
Your point is taken, sir, but my question to you is that are all these elections, yes, sir, are all these elections to be boiled down to the concerns of minority community? And in your opinion, sir, what will be the course of UP election? In your opinion, what do you think the way this election in Uttar Pradesh will be go? Will it be fought on the issue of minorities? Will it be fought on the issue of a face like Nitish Kumar, who was projected as Sushasan Kumar? Or will this be an election about plain, cold, social arithmetic, sir?
No, it will be a mix of all. No election can just be unidimensional in its rubric, It has to be a mix of all, because the constituency to constituency, the political terrain changes, the aspirations change, the issues change. Because, mind you, this is an assembly election, which is pretty different from the parliament elections, which are fought on bigger issues. But at the same time, I believe that this will be fought. There will be certain national issues. There will be some throwback on the 2014 promises of the Honorable Prime Minister, where he was able to sway the young voters on the promise of jobs, on the promise of providing them opportunities, equal opportunities. So that that hasn't happened. And you know, these elections are being contested in the backdrop of demonetization, which though there is no confirmed empirical data, but I think millions of jobs have been lost in the informal sector on account of that. So, you know, this would be a kind of popular vote or, you know, popular judgment, I would call. I'm deliberately not using the word referendum. On a host of issues, it will be a vote on the performance of NDA, it will be a vote on the performance of Akhilesh Yadav. And mind you, Akhilesh Yadav today has the same image as Nitish had before the Bihar elections, that even his opponents who didn't have anything wrong to say about, you know. I mean, they said that Nitish is a good man, but he's in bad company, that they would say in Bihar. Here,
Right. Thank you very much, Vinod Sharma, for joining us on the broadcast. Also, Kartikeya Sharma for joining us. Of course, whether or not the alliance between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress will prove to be a spoiler for the BJP and the BSP, we will know in just a few weeks from now. On that note, taking a very short break, it's a wrap on this edition. Stay tuned to World is One News.